Welcome back to the 5-Star Weekend Official Podcast. I'm your host, Elin Hilderbrand. Today, we're unpacking episode 2, entitled Friday Night Pajama Dance Party. Here's this episode's itinerary. First, I'll answer your questions about the 5-Star Weekend in Book Talk, presented by On the Rocks, bartender-created cocktails. Then, for our main event, I'll be joined by the fantastic Chloë Sevigny, who plays Tatum.
What are you scared of?
I'm at a 3-day dinner party with a bunch of women I've never met.
I agree. Yeah, this is terrifying.
Now, let's kick off this episode with questions from you. It's time for Book Talk, presented by On the Rocks. You know I'm always here for a good cocktail and a good book. There's no better way to end a day. So today, I have a watermelon margarita, which is divine, and I'm ready to answer your questions. Let's find out who we're hearing from today.
Hi, Ellen. The Wandering Weavers here. We're a book club from the Boston area. We love traveling to Nantucket, thanks in big part to your books. We always make it a point to bring a Nantucket basket weaving project on our trips, hence our name, The Wandering Weavers.
We love reading your books because they all seem very much like nicely woven Nantucket baskets. Every character and plot point is nicely woven into place. When you were writing the 5-Star Weekend, was there a thread that was more difficult to weave into the final pattern? And maybe was there a character that almost didn't make it into the basket?
Hi, Wandering Weavers. First of all, I am in awe of your book group. You guys are all so skilled and so dedicated to your craft. I'm very impressed. And writing a novel is also a craft, and it takes a lot of sort of hits and misses for me to get it right. One of the things that I struggled with was Gigi's humanity and making her feel like a whole person. So I wove in her backstory in Georgia, growing up with a father who's from Singapore and her mother from Georgia. All of that came in later because I wanted Gigi to feel like a whole person and not just sort of, the evil other woman. Thank you so much, Wandering Weavers, for your excellent question. Now, let's get into our main event, my conversation with Chloë Sevigny. Chloë, thank you so much for being here and for bringing Tatum to the screen. You've talked about how this genre is not something that you do a lot, this mainstream genre, but you fit perfectly into this world. What about the story made you want to do it?
Well, the female friendships.
Okay.
I also have a lot of friends who were grieving.
Okay.
Different people in their lives. And I thought it's such a personal and lonely experience.
Right.
And I thought the way that Hollis brings her friends together to help her kind of move through it was something that you don't really hear about. People don't really talk about it a lot. I think people feel very isolated when they're grieving.
Right.
And I thought that was like a gift to give to people. I think also that people like expect so much from their friends and their spouses, and they expect them to be everything. And I think that you can take certain things from different friendships and be like, this friend is really good for this, and this friend is really good for that.
Right.
And I love them all equally for what they can bring. And I think that that's something we should examine also. So there was just,
gosh. That's like such a great answer. In the book, I mean, it's the, sort of high concept that you're going to have one friend from each part of your life, not realizing the only thing they have in common is you, and that it's possible that they will not like each other. Right?
Yeah.
You and Tatum have very different paths in life, right? So Tatum is a Nantucket local, has lived on Nantucket her whole life. You left home, tell me if I'm wrong, at 19 and moved to New York?
Maybe 18. It was the day after I graduated high school.
Okay.
The very next
And
day.
where
I'd
are you
already had
coming-
like an apartment set up and a job and everything.
How did you make that happen?
I'd been coming into New York because I grew up in the suburbs in Connecticut.
You
so it was
grew up in
only
the
like
suburbs.
45 minutes away. So I
Okay.
had a lot of friends already here because I'd been coming into the city to escape the
Yes.
tiny suburbs.
Yes.
And I just had forged all these friendships.
You
And
did.
I was really excited by people who were doing things.
Right.
And doing things that I didn't know about. And I was just so eager to learn and be around people that were creative and
Right.
exciting. And I, didn't fit into like the field hockey milieu
Right,
in
right.
Darien, Connecticut.
Right.
And there was a lot of lovely people there who I still know. I
Sure.
went to school with kids from kindergarten through, senior year, which is a lot like Tatum's experience, I
Right.
think, in Nantucket. It was a very small school. And, but I was ready. I was reborn and ready to go.
You were
And I brought my parents in. I showed them the apartment I was going to move into. I was living with 5 other kids in Brooklyn. And I got a job at this clothing store downtown. And yeah, it was all lined up.
Oh my gosh. And your parents, so let me ask you this question, and you don't have to tell me the truth, but like when you were going into the city in high school, were you sneaking out? Or did they fully know you were getting on? I assume you got on the train or you got rides or
I did. No, I
whatever.
took Metro North. No, they knew. They knew. I think sometimes I would say I was sleeping at like a friend's house,
Yeah.
but I was really staying out all night. At
Right. And
the
you were
rave.
staying out all night because you were going, I'm just sort of like following your urban legend here. You were going out to the clubs as a teenager.
I was. Yeah.
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 And
Rave,
there
all
was
night
there
raves.
a name? Was it like the Tunnel Babies? Like was there a name?
Well, they were the club kids,
The club
or the like
kids, the
raver
club kids.
kids, and there were all these like Peter Gation clubs, and 5 of my roommates actually they all worked for him, so I had like access.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, I was like, pretty cute and could weasel my
Right.
way into like, making friends with the door guys and stuff like that.
I'm so like this is I'm so intrigued. You were extremely sophisticated at a young age, and Tatum maybe wasn't. What was your take on her?
I feel like she's sophisticated in a different way. I think she's very practical. I am
Yeah.
very practical. I think she's very like salt of the earth, very like she's gonna, make her own way in the way that I
Right.
did, even though she like takes
Right.
over her parents' business. And like I think she's also like very serious about work. And I think I share that with her as well. And yeah, there were lots of things about like her love of where she's from that I could relate to
Yeah.
in a way, even though I left where I'm from. There's
Yeah.
still something that I hold dear, and I go back there all the time. My mother still lives there.
What about her bluntness?
Her bluntness, yeah, she's a little cold and
does
bitter,
not-
salty and
right?
sour, which
Yeah.
I always say I am. She's
Yeah.
very dry.
She is like, she doesn't pull any punches. She's the one to speak truth to power. You know what I mean? She's the one to say, Holly. I mean, my favorite line is where someone says, oh, it's not a competition. And Tatum says, but if it was a competition, I'd win, which I love so much. That and possibly my favorite line in the entire show is where you're in the doctor's office in episode 1. And the doctor says, well, Tatum, you're not your mother. And you say,
I beg to differ.
I beg to differ. And the way you deliver that line is going to resonate with like every woman our age with their mother. Because I'm like, I say it out loud when I watch it now. I beg to differ. Tatum loves Nantucket. Can you talk a little bit about your experience there? You shot for a month. It was the best month of my life, other than when my children were born, because it was so exciting to have you there. What were some of the things that you liked best about being on Nantucket?
Well, first of all, we were greeted by one of your sons.
Yes,
And that was
Dawson.
lovely. Dawson was so charming
Thank you.
and kind of dry in his own. He has a great sense of
Yeah,
humor, and the
he
way he
does.
kind of like, he was like our entree into and kind of talking about things as we passed and how things normally are and how they are at the moment when we were walking through. And it was just such a great, entry into Nantucket, having him kind of guide us in. And I'm from New England, so I
Okay,
love New
right.
England. It's one of my favorite places in the world.
Right.
I just bought a house on Cape Cod. It's where
good
I
for
want to
you.
retire to. So it's
Okay,
like,
okay.
to me, that is like all, it's
Right.
It's everything the world should
Okay, right. Okay, good. Okay, good.
In
So
a way,
it
yes.
didn't kill you with its quaintness, because sometimes when you're from the city, you know what I mean? It feels like
No, but it's weird,
provincial.
like having grown up in Connecticut and like Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard were very much a thing.
Okay,
and I never really went there except for like a wedding here or there. Wasn't kind of in my parents' budget. That wasn't part of what our summer looked like.
Right.
So it was very aspirational.
Right.
And it was also like, I think I had certain feelings towards it because of that. but it also felt very comfortable and, familiar to me. But I also love old-timey New England. I love the whaling industry lore and going to the museum, the whaling museum.
Did you go to the museum?
Of course, many times, several times.
Oh my God, you
for
also
talks,
meant more than once.
I
Oh
was
my
like, I'm
gosh.
going to read Heart of the Sea again, because then you get another history of Nantucket, which
totally.
I found very
Yes.
informative, because I'd read it when it came out, and it's been years now since it came out. So I reread it while I was there. And then, of course, taking advantage of all the restaurants and
What was
the
your favorite?
nature. I liked American Seasons.
You liked American Seasons.
It was close
Shout
to the
out.
hotel.
Yeah.
And I liked how small the menu was, and everything in the menu was just kind of perfect.
Yeah.
And not too heavy, not too light. It was just, I thought there was really, we went to Black Eyed Susan's. There was an oyster truck at Cisco Breweries that was some of the best oysters I've ever had in my life.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys had so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say you want to retire to the Cape and it's your perfect place. What is it that you love about it?
Well, my father's from Massachusetts, from Hingham, and I grew up going to Falmouth. We had family that lived there, and I just feel this deep-rooted, I feel the most at ease, most myself. I don't want to get too, spiritual, mumbo-y, jumbo-y, but there's something about the terrain there, the low pines, the salt air. I also like a beachside town in the winter. There's something very romantic about isolation and the mystery of the dunes and the way the earth changes, and especially out in Provincetown with these dunes. And then it's you feel like you're at the end of the earth.
Right, yes, you
but
do.
it's still a community, a tight little community. And a lot of my friends have places upstate, and I'm too scared. I'm a scaredy cat. When I was little, I couldn't even go to the bathroom and close the door. I had to I'm still a little bit of a scaredy cat. So I could never be off in the woods. So I like this, that you're surrounded by people, but you still are at the end of the earth.
Right.
Which is a very specific thing.
Right, I agree. When you go over the Sagamore Bridge, do you have that feeling of ecstasy like I do? I'm home, or I've
I do. There's also an intense sense memory. I think there's also maybe some past life things playing for me there. I'd played Lizzie Borden. I had family that were from Bedford and Fall River. And I just feel very connected to the land and the people there, even though I grew up, in Connecticut. I'm not a true masshole, even though I was born in Springfield. I just, the homes, the architecture, but I feel like New England is, just my home.
I want to talk about my favorite scene in episode 2, which is where you and Hollis ride your bikes over the footbridge in Sconset. Can you tell me about filming that scene?
I love that scene. I think, Hollis and Tatum hadn't spent time together alone in a while. And this is the first time you see them kind of trying to unpack what's happened in their friendship. And I think so much gets kind of revealed and uncovered in that scene. And they get to move to a different part of their friendship during that scene. And there's just so much going on. And Jennifer's such a great actress. She's so great. She can move from comedic to the most haunting, moving moment in seconds. And just acting opposite her was really exciting and for all of us. And she really set a tone as a producer on the show and as the lead actress on the show. Just this is what we're all going to be doing now. And it was more challenging than any of us anticipated. And I think we all found it so much more rewarding as actors, and the work just was deeper and more complicated than we had all anticipated. And not that the book isn't or the subject isn't or something, but I think that was a result of the writing, Jennifer, the directing, and just how fast we forged these friendships that we could be so open with one another as we were shooting. And so doing that scene, we just also got to giggle and be playful when the cop comes and that was really fun. And, and then have this weird awkwardness on the swing. And like I was saying, it's so exciting to work opposite her.
Yeah. One of the reasons I'm asking is because that scene was shot in Sconset. So you know this because you've been there. A lot of the viewers won't know this. Nantucket is an island that has a town, and we call it town, and the town is called Nantucket. And then there is a village 7 miles to the east on the east coast of Nantucket called Sconset. And the people who live in Sconset are very protective of Sconset and extremely particular.
They have a great sandwich shop in Sconset.
They do, at Claudette's. So I'm just wondering, did anybody complain while you were doing it? Like, were there protesters?
No, I think the people of Nantucket really welcomed. Well, I think they all adore you and the books and what the books have done, for the island. And I think that the first couple days in town, it was like a little shakeup, and people were like, "Wait, what's going on?" And then they kind of got used to us, and we were all trying to be, as well behaved as we possibly could, and polite and gracious and all the rest, which you try to be in general, because filming is so disruptive. I don't think people really realize the degree of like how loud the trucks are, how bright the lights are, the yelling and the resetting and the cars.
The number of people, the sheer number of people. There were 275 people who came.
Whenever people are like, "Oh, I want to make some money and have someone film in my house," I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. I absolutely love the couple that owned the Hero House. They had to have a different house elsewhere, and they had it done for a different movie. So they were aware of what it entailed. I still
think they were ready for us to leave by the end.
I'm sure they were. They were such great.
But they were very gracious, and the house was so beautiful.
So beautiful. It looks so beautiful on the screen as well. But I was very curious about that scene set in Sconset. And then
that bridge is gorgeous.
The bridge is gorgeous. And then you notice, but hopefully the viewer notices, there's a sundial that was built on the side of the building next to it, which is like a very unique feature in Sconset, is this cool sundial built right into the side of the house.
There's a beautiful playground I brought my son to right down the street from where we shot, and we went down on those beaches. And I wanted to ask you about that one beach where all the horseshoe crabs are.
So would it be Dionis Beach? It was on the North Shore at Dionis.
Yes.
Yeah, it's perfect for little children. I took my kids there for years and years, and it's calmer. So that's where the horseshoe crabs will come on to the beach, especially in September.
And they're like molting.
Yes.
Yeah, it was wild. My son was like, "What is this?"
Right. That is like a nature sighting in the wild.
On another planet.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell me about how the cast came together and what the dynamic was like.
Well, the dynamic was great. I mean, just out the gate. Because you're sitting around, just the cast, just women, everybody just starts getting like down and dirty, straight away.
Just
everybody's
sort of like
letting their guards down and like saying like, this is what's happening in my life, or this is what's happened. This is where I am now. This is my fears. These are this. And it was just like, we all just kind of were very, open books with each other. And it was so therefore the friendships accelerated very quickly. And I think it had a lot to do without having a lot of men on the set. There was a freedom to be more open with one another about, all kinds of things.
Right. And your directors were women.
Yeah, producers, mostly women, and then hair, makeup, wardrobe, etc.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So you guys really, really bonded. Is it true that you guys have a text stream?
Of course, yeah. Doesn't everybody have text
still?
streams?
I don't know. I didn't know if that's like was something that happened like when you were on a cast.
We do. We were even talking about like what everybody's wearing today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just it helps ease any of the like anxieties or fears around press, or in a way just staying in touch and checking in on everybody's birthday, or if somebody was on a carpet, everybody will chime in and encourage. It's really sweet. It's really nice.
That's so nice.
Because I live in New York, I don't have a lot of really deep actor friendships. I only have a few. So it's been really lovely to have this like group of women, you know, in this age range. And I've also like became very close with Harlow Jane and Wes Duchovny, the two daughters on the show who we love, who bring such a bright light to the show. And they're so cute and charming. And so we're really lucky.
They said it sounded like a group of elderly teenagers. No. You need to keep it down.
Okay, Officer Teddy Bear. Okay.
It's Officer Cooper. Go home, please. Quietly. Shh.
Okay, so in the scene where you and Hollis are riding the bikes over the bridge, there's a real sense of childhood. And, you know, I'm in my 50s, you're in your 50s. You can't hold on to every friendship forever. I mean, do you have anything to say on that topic?
I do. I mean, I grew up in a small town, like I said, and I had a lot of friends, you know, from nursery school through, you know, my senior year. And of course, Tatum had lost her mother. And so I think her friendship with Hollis, you know, became a lot more than just like a friendship.
They were like sisters, so they call each other sis.
So they were like sisters, and the dance routine, all of that. I remember doing that with my friends. So many dance routines with my girlfriends.
Right.
Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, so many Grease. It was like just some part of what we do, part of what we would do growing up. And that closeness, I can still see, you know, friends from that time. And, you know, and we wanted that to just be there. But then when you also don't see someone for so long, like is it right there? Do you have to capture it again? Like we had to play kind of all of those things at once, which made it really exciting. And, you know, it wasn't like we're just like, wow, bosom buddies again. There was still tension. And of course it's a drama, so you want some tension. But I think we all know people that like, or have people in our lives that just know us, you know, from a period that you can't kind of pretend you're something else because they know the true you, you know? And for me as a public person, I love that. Like I love going back to Darien and seeing people from town. They're like, oh, that's Chloe. She's this, that, and the other. She was like most changed, and, you know, her style was always wacky. And like,
that's so funny.
It's kind of like they have an insight into the true you because they experienced the same thing you did. And there's something very comforting about that. And I think that's why my parents moved to that town. They really wanted me to have that.
Right. I agree because I feel like a lot of our viewers will connect with this statement. I have friends from high school and they knew me when, right? So they have that privilege. And I could not tell you the ages or names of their children but yet at the same time, like, and I do get together with them so often, but it's not, we haven't, like that level of intimacy cannot follow you a lot of times through your life because you move away or you have a different job or you just have a different kind of lifestyle. But when you see them, you're like, this person knew me when we were roller skating backwards to Rick Springfield. Like, you know what I mean? And that, in some sense, is the person that knows you the best. But if asked questions about their life today, you maybe couldn't answer. You know what I'm saying? It's fascinating to me.
I do like, and I'm making new friends now, or I have friends from my 20s who those are when you're like such formative years, when you're really discovering who you are and picking friends, not because they're in proximity, but because there's something you have in common with them. Or then like when you have children and you like might have had an acquaintance, but then their child's the same age. So then you have a deeper bond. And so now like I'm noticing all of my friendships kind of shifting now in the midlife, and some friends that don't have kids and their social schedule is very different. And I was like, it's harder to maintain those friendships, even though I miss them dearly and want to. And it like pains me so much. And every new year, I'm like, that's my one thing I'm going to do is try and maintain my friendships. But then I have this kid and he needs me, or my husband and he travels. So I don't see him as often. But I think that like, I'm still just like making friends now at 50, some friends with kids that I'm like, wow, this person is now like my person. And like, it's amazing and great. And, I'm learning so much from them. And it's just, it's just, I don't know. Life.
And it plays into so many themes of this exact weekend, right? Like that you would have these people that fill different needs for you at different parts of your life. Okay, one last question, which is about Tatum's main arc. So she finds out that she's having this biopsy. She might have breast cancer. Her mother died almost instantly from the diagnosis when she was a formative age in her late teens, early 20s. I can't remember. How did you prep for that? Do you know people? Did you do any research, or were you just channeling something else?
I mean, I think we've all had one test or another of some sort that have led us to a period of anxiety. And it was so clear on the page, the points we wanted to hit, when and where we would let you see her, drop her guard. And, those parts are really important because she is quite tough. And I wanted there to be moments of the vulnerability and seeing her like trying to, work through it, and I had a great scene partner and my husband who, that made it really easy to go there with him. But she's also working through the fact that like she made this decision to stay in Nantucket, and now she's kind of second guessing her entire life. So she kind of has two stories happening, I think, or two main arcs is like,
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah. Did I make the right choice in my life? And now my life might be ending.
Right. And that's how they're
still
connected.
Here,
right. That's how the arcs are connected. Like now she's possibly facing her mortality, and now she's spent the whole time on Nantucket and she hasn't really gone anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I love her marriage. I wrote her marriage very intentionally to be like just a really good marriage, which only happens ever so often when you get married out of high school. Right?
I know
mean,
some people that have been,
Yeah. I mean, I know one couple, I love them to death, who got married in high school and they are still like one of the most in love couples I've ever met. And it's so inspiring to see it. And so I wanted to put that on the page.
Thank you.
But I do feel like her arcs, that's where they intersect, right? Is that should she have been doing more and now she's facing her mortality? But you brought both storylines. Oh, you're so good in it, Chloe. I don't even know what to say.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow. You wrote such a good character.
Thank you. All right, we're now going to play our game. I have 5 rapid fire questions about your personal 5-star weekend.
Rapid fire?
Well, I don't know how rapid fire. 1. So if you were to include one dream guest, living or dead, on your invite list, who would it be?
Fran Lebowitz.
Fran Lebowitz. Oh my gosh, what a great answer. She would be so much fun. What kind of setting would you host it in? Mountain, beach, or city? Or neither? None.
Beach.
Beach. Me too. I do beach.
I'm a beach gal.
Shocker.
I'm a beach baby.
Would your itinerary be more action-packed or focused?
Although I don't think Fran would like the beach.
Fran, what would Fran
She
even wear?
gotta tough it up.
What would Fran even wear to the? I can't even imagine Fran without her shoes on.
Khakis?
Okay. Would your itinerary be more action-packed or focused on relaxation?
Relaxation.
It's not just you and Fran, remember?
Relaxation.
Okay, mine would definitely be
I
relaxation.
mean, I love an all-inclusive when all you have to decide between is like, you know, fish or...
Yeah. All right. Which party game would you play? Never Have I Ever, charades, or 2 Truths and a Lie?
I don't know 2 truths and a lie.
You don't know 2 truths and a lie?
No.
That's where you say 3 things and 2 of them are true and one's a lie and people have to guess?
That one.
Okay. Just going to play 2 truths and a lie, you guys. And number 5, what song would you do a choreographed dance to?
Oh, Lord. Straight Up by Paula Abdul.
Straight up, now tell me. Love it. Thank you, Chloe. You have been such an amazing guest.
Thank you.
And we love episode 2.
We love episode.
We
it's
love
so
episode
great.
2.
Episode 2.
It's so good.
Action
It's so good.
packed.
Lots going on.
Rama.
That's it for today's episode. Thank you for joining me on our own little 5-star weekend. There's so much more to come. The 3rd and 4th episodes of this podcast come out next Thursday. For episode 3, I'll be talking with director Jennifer Morrison. And then I'll find out what it took to bring Hollywood to Nantucket and recreate Nantucket in Hollywood with production designer Scott Dugan, set director Barbara Castle, and food stylist Melissa McSorley. In our 4th episode, we head to the spa with the one and only Darcy Carden, who plays Brooke. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the 5-Star Weekend official podcast so you don't miss an episode. If you like what you're hearing and watching, don't forget to leave a rating and review on your podcast player of choice. And if you aren't watching us right now, go check us out on Peacock and YouTube. I'm Elin Hilderbrand. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time.